It's daybreak here on Arise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. As usual, we begin with our sister publication, This Day. Its leading headline: another directive from the president. You have till December to crush all terrorists, bandits. Buhari orders armed forces. Two riders there. Federal government says security situation has improved nationwide. Intelligence agencies, others vow to contain terror financing. And the leading photo today on This Day newspaper, UK High Commissioner visits Tinubu. This was here in Abuja, the APC presidential campaign office yesterday. More headlines here. The CAN says Tinubu's presence at Kuka's birthday won't change opposition to same faith ticket. And above the nameplate of This Day this morning, to the UK, Liz Truss emerges third female British Prime Minister, promises bold reforms.
The Punch newspaper, Muslim ticket, no agreement with Tinubu, CAN insists, talks tough. That's the Christian Association of Nigeria. Federal government suspends 5% telecoms tax and on calls and data. And flooding kills 372 people in 8 months. That's according to NEMA, the Emergency Management Agency. 11 state varsities shun ASU. Federal government threatens unions.
All right, the Nation newspaper, almost all the topics here are what we want to hear about. First, PDP crisis, I'll crush my detractors, says Wiki. That sounds like a military statement. It's too late to break my ranks. Atiku already sharing positions before polls, says Rivers governor. On the top mast there, petrol scarcity looms as Ipman stops supply. How Tinubu's vision turned Lagos into a mega city. You're looking at that picture of Liz Truss, but under it, it says collapsed building. Lagos commissioner resigns. Interesting. Then worst of insecurity is over. Federal government tells Nigerians. Then just below, federal government suspends 5% tax on telecoms services.
The Guardian Nigeria this morning. Three leading headlines. The first one, Wike accuses Atiku, Okowa, Ayu of sharing positions ahead of 2023. And just above that, oil industry, the federal government to install new flow meters, take over production data from oil firms. More on that on page 6. And Truss becomes third female UK Prime Minister.
The international papers, The Independent, a smiling Truss faces race against time. Of course, she will become the Prime Minister today.
All right, The Guardian, the same Truss smiling. Truss wins, but can she avert the looming crisis? I thought they will give her a little break. Let her get on board first. That's The Guardian.
No break from the British media. They want her up and running. High cost of living and energy crisis they're battling in the UK. For the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us from our outside studio. Emmanuel, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Let's get right into it. Another directive from the president. On the front of This Day, he's telling the armed forces that they have till December to crush all terrorists and bandits. And this is coming as the federal government is telling the nation that the worst is over for insecurity, naming all their successes that they've had in the operations. What are your thoughts?
Good morning, Kechi. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yes, the president once again, doubling down on those his promises that in just 11 months he's going to have to find a way of solving this problem. I think he said that some months back. He said Nigerians should just give him 11 months, and now he's narrowing it to December, giving a new deadline, and that by December all should have been crushed. Between now and December is just less than how many months? We don't know how that is going. How they're going to do that. But in this story, you have the armed forces, the leadership of the armed forces, the Minister of Defense, reeling out, Nkechi, like you said, some of those success story, how they are smoking out the bandits, how they're intercepting, communication among the bad guys, and how they are trying to generally ensure that everywhere is secured. It is their last-ditch attempt, I think, to restore some kind of hope, some kind of confidences, with some kind of reassurance among a populace that's been decimated by fear, by doubts, and even sometimes by losing complete faith in the security apparatus of this government. So it is this last-ditch effort, and I don't know whether it has something to do with the 2023 election, because whether you like it or not, security is going to be red meat to the opposition. Is going to be a campaign issue. The opposition will continuously use that because it's the number one area, the number one benchmark, one thing that a lot of people are almost unanimously agree that this government under a military general has actually failed in the area of security. So it's an area that the opposition would like to latch on, and many of them would like to say, look, we have got a better security architecture. But government now saying that before December is going to pull off this miracle. We're not going to have those cases of banditry anymore. The roads are going to be safe. Everyone will feel free. We're going to be back to the era when people can travel from Abuja to Kaduna, even in the middle of the night, or from here to Jos or to Lagos in the middle of the night. Saying by December, by Christmas, we're all going to have to enjoy all of that. Well, that is what the federal government is saying. But we're going to have to watch to see by December how that plays out.
Indeed, Emmanuel, we're looking forward to taking road trips across the country. The Nation newspaper, the crisis in the PDP, Wike, the governor in Rivers State, says he will crush his detractors and it's too late to break his ranks. He's going all out. It's time to spill some blood, Emmanuel.
Yeah, he was, Kenneth, he's using the same term you saw in this day newspaper, but the president using the word crush the bandits. Wike has borrowed that word too. He's saying he's going to crush, all his detractors. And it was yesterday again at another commission of a flyover. Those events are becoming, almost like a must-watch because that is where Wike put up all his theatrics, his skills at dramatizing. Yesterday, even going to the point of speaking in tongues while he was lambasting the Atiku's camp. He spoke so bitterly. Once again, it's almost a recurring, theme in some of those conversations. But with every outing, he ups the ante. Yesterday, what he said is that he's going to the PDP is already sharing offices of the Secretary General. The Secretary of to the government of the Federation. All those positions have been shared already. So he's asking, what is the need for me? So he's gone now beyond asking for the IO ouster and saying that, look, the Atiku camp is probably using that to tell the Atiku camp what is really at stake. That, look, I need to know what is in it for me. Abia State needs to know what is in it for them. Probably that's some way of negotiating this crisis and saying, look, if you can just tell us what is in it for us, probably there's some window to some form of reconciliation, because he's saying he cannot understand how you'll be sharing those offices and then you don't consider him or consider some other governors. So he's very clearly saying that, look, we have to take a bite out of whatever you are providing, and maybe with that, just maybe, there will be some peace. The PDP is having its meeting next tomorrow on Thursday, and they'll be trying to, those are some of the issues I'm sure that would dominate the conversation around the issue of the crisis, what the Nation newspaper likes to continuously call the PDP crisis, and put it out there on the front burner.
It's a PDP crisis, isn't it? But
it is. But I'm just saying that the Nation newspaper reports it so gleefully all the time.
Why is Wike crying? He doesn't want settlement. So why is he talking about getting a share? You want settlement before you get a share,
well,
right?
He's walking back some of his position. In the past he talks about it was harsher back then. Talk about betrayal. Then you talk about the fact that, well, no, there's a condition and it's IU. And now you can see that he's actually adding more conditions to it. It's like, again, it's some maybe unique way of trying to negotiate around this crisis. So it's not as if, remember, he said he's not opting out of the party. The other day he said he's going to work against the APC. So these are some of the mixed messages. But in between that, if you read between between the line or you listen to him, you know that, look, what Wike is saying is that, look, I need more of the bite of whatever you're providing. With that, probably I will consider working for the presidential candidate.
All right, you mean work for the APC against the PDP. All right, still on the nation. Federal government suspends 5% tax on telecom services. That's coming from Pantami. Worst of insecurity is over, federal government tells Nigerians. And on the top mast, petrol scarcity looms as Ipman stops supply. We hope not.
Yes, indeed, we hope not. But I mean, that's a recurring theme, isn't it? Again and again, you have those issues about, the issues around the. And almost every day, there's a story around the petroleum sector, the problem of oil theft, and then the crisis around it. But what is clear is that, look, there is this frantic effort to deal with the crisis. And on one hand is the issue of supply, where you have the marketers, and on the other hand is the issue of production itself, which is at the heart of the matter, the crisis of oil theft, the fact that those refineries are not working. But of course, you had the NNPC boss the other day painting a rather rosy picture that some of these things will soon be a thing of the past, especially with Dangote refinery coming. But now we've got the Ipman, thing to deal with, looking at as we head into December. So of course, Nigerians are used to seeing those kind of queues, especially towards the end of the year. And India can just only pray that we will just hope not.
Emmanuel, on the international scene, all the international pages have the story. Liz Truss, and I know you and India will have a field day on this one. Liz Truss, finally, the British third woman British Prime Minister, and she's coming in at a time where there's energy crisis, high cost of living, the aftershock of Brexit. It will not be easy for her, will it?
Yes, and Nkechi, she's 47. She's young. She's strong. She's running already. You know, you need to see the way she jumped out of her seat yesterday when it was those results were announced and she was going to make her speech. But you're right. She's coming right into. She's hitting the ground running, but running around like one of the papers say she's racing against time because she's got those cost of living crisis, like you noted, Nkechi, to deal with, and the energy crisis coming at the time where, you know, ordinary people down there are up there saying, look, they have to choose between either just getting food to eat or heating up their homes with a very dangerous climate condition up ahead, and then the other international issues around her coming. So yes, it's a tough time, and then of course in 2 years her party will have to get its act together because there's a general election up ahead. So a lot of people having some faith that, you know, she's a reminder of those Thatcher years, and that she's going to bring some of those Thatcherism into force. But some people saying that, well, she might just be the same of the old, because of course even in her speech you can see what she said about Boris Johnson. So a lot of people thinking that there won't be any serious break from those Johnson years, but there she is, ready to take on the gauntlet and run the race. It's a race against time, as this paper is putting it, and we can only, you know, wish her the best and watch and see. Already some people, Atiku weighed in yesterday, the PDP presidential candidate, welcoming her, you know, her victory and saying that it's a victory for democracy and for good governance. We're going to watch and see how Truss, who is 47 and the third female, as she goes to the Queen, takes a bow and runs this race. I think all eyes will be on her to see how the next 2 years are going to pan under her leadership.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello. That's the press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. You can talk to us about some of the issues we've discussed today with the hashtag @AriseDaybreak.